What's going on, gamers? Hopefully, everyone has had a great weekend. I just got back from a pretty much 10-hour, damn near marathon of a rock and roll concert, which was absolutely amazing. For a cool person that had a quadruple bypass. So it was a support concert, and man, it was pretty crazy. But getting to some news I just saw here, this is absolutely hilarious. And this is the next attempt at the PlayStation physical disc boycott. Interesting stuff. I can't say I blame y'all, man. People want to try and do whatever they can. So this gets interesting. The funny thing here is that there's a new idea coming up how to come after Sony. We're going to read the letter that was written and the kind of like a raid that people kind of want to get together to in a way that's actually interesting. It says PlayStation fans plan a 1 week blackout over disc phase out. Now, this is absolutely hilarious because the thing with this is if you could get a lot of people to do this, this would be very interesting. But the thing is I wonder how this is actually going to play out. And this was last updated 35 minutes ago. It says organizers behind PlayStation Blackout, right? Let me go ahead and zoom in just a little bit more for you guys so you can see that. Organizers behind PlayStation Blackout call on players to log out of consoles. Interesting stuff. So they want you to log out or just turn off the PlayStation, right? Skip sessions and avoid purchases from August 23rd. Interesting stuff. I've never seen anything like this. August 23rd at 7 o'clock p.m. to August 30th at 7 o'clock p.m. So basically a straight week offline. And they want to get as many PlayStation users to do this as possible so that Sony could literally see that they're losing numbers at the end of August. Interesting idea here. Local time, obviously. And this is a protest. Some funny stuff. It says the protest responds to Sony's July 1st announcement that new games will go disc-free starting January 2028, which we all know about this, right? It's going to be interesting when we get down to some of these comments. It says, citing digital sales now at 80% of the market. Something like that, yeah. Fans highlight concerns over ownership. I mean, my thing is that you should have been thinking about ownership for digital this whole time if it got that huge, because obviously a lot of people, the majority, were okay with the way that things were going like this. And that 80% was not getting physical. It was the whatever leftover that is now that's fighting against that and letting you know that, hey, you got a license. I guarantee you there's a lot of people that probably do have full digital and love it, but didn't know that it worked that way because they probably weren't really reading anything. So yeah, concern over ownership, preservation, and frustrations like studio closures and neglected franchises. Though skeptics doubt a single week's impact on Sony's metrics. Here's the thing, like that's a social media thing, but how many people are you going to get the attention of in the PlayStation world that actually buy a lot? That's the problem with this protest. Which, like I said, if you guys want to do these type of things, I'm not sitting here thinking that this is negative. I think this is actually hilarious, and in a way, just them trying to reach and find any little crack or angle they can to try to get Sony's attention. Sony has still not said anything when it comes to like their announcement. They haven't come and said, yeah, we saw how much you guys are raging. They have not said nothing. And I don't even know if they're ever going to. You wonder if there's going to be like some interview where like Hideaki Nishino or Hiroki Totoki gets into something and then somebody asks them a question in an interview and they say something. It just has not happened. Or Herman Host or somebody, right? Like, you're kind of hoping that, let me see what these guys actually think, right? But they're not letting you do nothing. They're straight giving you a blackout when it comes to their mentality, their thought patterns, anything regarding, the outrage towards it. Sony's just not. And it told you they don't have to reply to you. And it's interesting because that's literally what they're doing. So we got two aspects right here to go down. We can get right to this letter actually to see what it says. Desert Place says Sony wants to abandon fans. Let's give them a small taste of their own medicine. Together with other creators, we call for a 1 week PlayStation blackout in August. No logins, no play sessions, no purchases of any Sony's platform. For several years now, Sony Interactive Entertainment has continued to grow further apart from its fan base. I think Xbox is far worse though. But everybody knows that damage is done. Whether it's closing beloved studios like Bluepoint, which I definitely never agreed with, pursuing a misguided live service strategy, canceling fan events, leading PlayStation VR 2 to die. Oh, come on. You can't do anything about that. Even Valve tried. That VR market is just... What are you going to do about that? That's just... You're just being a crybaby. Or being completely out of touch with the franchise's players want to see return. Yeah, I think they're actually working on that. But yeah, they definitely need to do that because PlayStation has a lot of IPs. PlayStation has never felt more disconnected from its community. Fair point, that's where you feel. Ending physical disc in 2028 feels like the last straw. We understand there's only so much Sony Interactive Entertainment can control, but with the decisions that are within its control, the company continues to mismanage the strong position it inherited from the PS4 era. Well, I kind of felt like ever since that live service rush, there's definitely some fall off, but they ended up making a big turnaround. The disappointing part is not necessarily the RAM cartel making everything more expensive, but Sony making this decision with the disc. Other than that, they were actually doing better, and they made a huge turnaround. There's a lot of PlayStation games coming out, and they have a lot of exclusives now, and I think there's going to be a lot more. So this guy says there are so many issues with PlayStation right now that bringing back physical games would only be meeting players halfway. There's still so much Sony Interactive Entertainment can do. We miss Twisted Metal, SOCOM, Sly Scooper, and Resistance. We miss PlayStation Experience. We miss Japan Studio. Well, that's my thing. Infamous, all that. I think Sony's working on all that, and you're going to see a lot of that over the next few years into the PS6 generation as well. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think people are just more concerned about the physical operation going on and what's going to happen leading up to 2028. So, like I said, we still got to that to see how that goes. But going down, it says, with that, we are calling on PlayStation players. I've been on my Switch too a lot. Ever since Splatoon Raiders launched, I have not really been on my PlayStation at all. It's funny, man. That game is like crack. I'm telling you, it's just absolutely fun and amazing. $49.99 too. And I'll tell you what, it has one of the highest user review scores of all time. I had some butthurt Xbox fanboys coming in trying to damage control saying, oh, you were saying the 81 meta for Halo is bad. Look at Splatoon Raiders. I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, what about Star Fox? I'm like, dude, that adds multiplayer, online, all that. And the users are telling you they're loving it. It's different when it's only the critics, but when you got a user score of 9.3, what are we talking about here? You know how many people are disappointed in Halo and you dropped off multiplayer? It's not the same thing, but they just want to damage control because they can't stand that Nintendo is killing it. They are. Nothing new here. I mean, they've been doing this for a long time. They don't destroy their franchises, they make them better. And that's a spinoff, not a mainline legendary IP. It's like, yeah, nice try. Let's keep continuing though. But I tell you what, people will do anything to reach outside of the problems of Xbox and literally try to damage control somewhere outside of that without just facing the issue the way that it is. Like when I do PlayStation content, I specifically want to make sure that we're trying to work on the issue here. When I do Xbox content, which I've been doing a lot of it because there's so many problems there, and I'm like, okay, we gotta stay on this because there's way more problems in the Xbox world than there is in the PlayStation world. Sony will come out because they're such a big company in the gaming industry, just like Nintendo, that their phenomenons will be one problem like this and it'll overshadow everything. Whereas like Microsoft will come out with like 25 damn problems in like a few months on Xbox. You're like, bro, how do you have that many problems? But they do. But yeah, they're calling out people to do this August 23rd to August 30th. Players can participate by turning off their consoles or logging out for 7 days. We feel that this period gives publishers and developers minimum impact while still giving players a voice. Funny stuff right here. So that's the letter that they're actually coming up with to basically tell Sony, we're going to find a way to drop your digital performance. Going down, Sullihan says, I fear without big media covering this, it won't get enough steam. It's not. And there's a lot of people that are using bot views and all that to try to make it bigger than what it is. And hey, man, I can't blame you. That's the right thing to do when you want to get up in a company or corporation's face. But I don't know, man. I just... Like I told you, man, when I saw that Black Ops 1 and 2 and all that, I'm like, good Lord. And GTA 6 around the corner, it's going to be the biggest launch of all time, and it's digital only. What are you going to do to counter that? Just continue doing what you're doing. I'm not against anything you guys are doing. I'm just saying I like to look at like reality at the highest degree and say, are they really going to be successful? And like, if you want to ask me for my question, a lot of people are not going to like my answer. I'm like, I don't know. I kind of feel like there's like a sliver of hope. And I'm trying to beat it down, but all this stuff to me is like, I don't think it's negative. I think that there's nothing wrong with fighting back for what you love. That's a legacy of gaming. I mean, it's to find so much of it. I can't get mad at you. Going down, it says Sony will never backtrack. Just consider that only 7 games have sold more than 100,000 physical copies since the beginning of the year. And Matt Piscatella actually came out with the stats after that because people were trying to call him out. He's like, okay, I'm just going to let you know. And none of them sold over 250,000 or something. A lot of people thought that some of those were selling millions, and it's like, he gave the numbers. A lot of people shut up. It was like, yeah, man. Sorry, but you're preaching to a minority here. Meanwhile, the most expensive digital versions of games are top on PlayStation consistently. That's what I'm saying. You could try what you want, and like I said, there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't know if you guys are going to be able to do enough damage. I'm just trying to be realistic for you. And I'm not shooting down or making you say, oh, you should back off now because of that. Hey, man, keep going. See how far you can go. There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't know. I think when you're dealing with the ignorant of the masses and the hordes, are going to disappoint you. So, and I'm just going to be honest. I don't have a problem with digital. The only problem I have is that I feel like we should have digital ownership. And I show people in that one video that Sony's actually has a license for servers. So they're renting servers for licenses. It's not for ownership. Crazy stuff. If you guys didn't know about that, look up PlayStation AWS servers. It's on Amazon. And those servers are actually rented. Sony does not even own their servers. They're doing the same thing. And they've been doing that, where they've been giving a renting option. That's the way this whole system has been working the whole time. And a lot of people did not know that. Crazy stuff. But yeah, that's how it actually works. And he says, not sure this will solve anything, right? So we see a couple comments right there. Going back, though, Pirate Nation's post has 710 comments. It's pretty crazy. We can go to likes right here if you guys know you can do that. Monster says, rookie numbers 1 week. I haven't turned on my PlayStation 5 in months. Get on my level, gang. Well, this is one guy. I think people don't understand that the guys that play FIFA, 2K, and Call of Duty outweigh everyone that complains about stuff on X and Reddit. And yeah, what he's saying is what I'm saying. Like the horde mentality of the generic same high sales every single year. Madden, FIFA, Call of Duty, Red Dead, GTA. You know what I mean? 2K, every single year, over and over and over again, the same games. And you will realize how much of that population actually is on that. And Nintendo world is different because they actually have a living gaming world. They always have. A lot of people can get on PlayStation just to be in the chat. Same thing with Xbox, get on Netflix, play your generic game that's not first party. And it's just always kind of been that way in a Western sense. Whereas Nintendo world, ain't nobody getting on Netflix. It doesn't even exist over there. YouTube, nothing. It's straight unique video games and IPs. And it's pretty awesome. No, but now more than ever, they have opened themselves up to those worlds and they're now in their world. But still, when you look at their charts, their games dominate. And I love that because it's not the same zombie cycle over and over again. Which, like, when I think about it, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of tired of seeing these IPs. Can we get some more fresh stuff up here on the leaderboards so things will be more innovative and people stop over supporting gambling addictions and psychological exploited games, which is all about MTX and free to play? And pretty much degenerate communities. It's like that stuff has been hurting the soul of gaming for a long time. And then developers sit there and they focus too much development time on making you pay for more money after you already bought the game. So that means that you're getting a lot of development time spent on vanity and a bunch of boxes, loot boxes, all this nonsense, instead of actually good gaming content to keep you sub to the game or to get you on the game to get the expansion to keep on playing it. You know what I mean? That's how MMOs were back then. It's like if you had a World of Warcraft sub and you never got rid of it, it's because the content that kept on coming out was really good. It wasn't about getting you to go to a store and spend way more money. In that sense, no, you're paying for content. That's why I hated the gacha realm, because like, this is cancer. Like, it really is. So this guy says, correction here. Twitter fans are planning a PlayStation 5 Blackout on even 1% of the fan base. It will do nothing. After the so-called digital protests, doubt. How about all of you just go PC and just tell Sony to suck it? No, we're not. I'm buying more digital games. That's the thing, guys. Like I said, I can't blame people for trying everything, you know, they possibly could to fight for digital. I mean, not fight for digital, to fight for physical ownership. But hey, when it comes to the hordes and the masses, good luck. I'm just saying. So let me know what you guys think about this. Become a member, leave a tip down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Remember, it's only $3 for a member. You know what I mean? Help AGN's channel out. And just remember, keep on gaming no matter what platform you're on, or like I say, app, because I know a lot of people like to play on Steam. So yeah, later, y'all. This one here is a funny one. Peace.